Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here, and I'm absolutely tickled to death because I get to reintroduce you to the fabulous, outstanding star of stage and screen, Miss Peggy Burton.
I'm back. I thought I wouldn't make it, but I did.
You did. You're a trooper.
We got through that, Peggy, so it's going to be downhill from there.
I know.
Yeah.
Y'all weren't expecting me, were you?
No, ma'am.
We're sorry if we don't act normal today, but Peggy's had knee surgery, and she came in today and shared some of her drugs with all of us. And so, you know, if we don't act normal, that's why.
Yeah, it might surprise you to know I've not been on drugs.
Who are you? Who are you?
I don't know.
Who are you?
Ask me
You're Jim Fuller?
Ask me an easy question.
Jim Fuller. That's
Yeah.
Jim Fuller over there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
We have
to
some
do
great
that.
guests today.
We've got, the show is looking great out here. We've got folks from Spamalot. You know, and it reminds me, some of these, and I don't mean to brand call, but everybody else does it out there. Some of the Budweiser Light commercials are hilarious. And because they make a farce about that whole deal, and the King's drinking Bud Light and he won't drink any other kind.
I haven't seen that one.
Now they've got Bud Light Platinum, which is just for the nighttime. Mm-hmm. And so the Bud Light man, he's upset because he's getting cut out of part of the deal for Bud Light Platinum. It's
I hope
just,
Bud Light's
it's just
sending
funny.
us a check for this
Yeah,
commercial.
yeah. Hennigan send a check for this.
We've got Michael Bush on the show.
Michael Bush is here, which is he's an incredible artist that lives in Bell Buckle, and every time Michael comes around, there's something not only beautifully done but very poignant to be discussed. And so I'm always glad to have Michael on the show.
And I think we're going to have Lisa Maurer to talk about our Young Artist Showcase, which is important to me because I think we need to showcase our young artists.
Yes, which brings about today's reading.
Oh,
You know, I was thinking about what we do, and this is a great group to read it to because it's basically creative stuff. You know, a lot of young people have concerns about what they do, whether it's, well, I can't be good enough to do that. Yes, you can. Everybody that ends up being a star started off right where you are. All they had that you hadn't figured out yet is courage, persistence, and confidence in themselves.
true.
So,
Very important.
long tale, short tale, poem or quote, you can't sit on your laurels or what you wrote. First thing you need to do is tell it. The most important thing when you tell it, sell it.
I like that. That's very good.
So, you know, it's all about the sale out there, folks. Doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, makes no difference. Sooner or later, you're going to sell it. You're going to have to sell it to get there. So have pride and confidence in what you do and sell it when you're doing it. Like these folks out here in the audience, they can't wait to get up on that stage and sell their performance. Are they ever going to be on a stage in Hollywood or in New York? Maybe, maybe not, but guess what? The creative process is one of the most wonderful things that we can spend time, our energy on doing.
And
because
it's wonderful
such a
that
great
in
reward.
Tullahoma, Tennessee, we have this happening.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
And this play's coming up this weekend, right?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Greg Gressel, chairman of the board of
Thursday
South
night.
Jackson Civic Center, is out here in the audience today, and you know, we always want to thank them for what they do because that is a ministry.
It very
You don't
definitely
get paid for it. What if the W salary, Greg? How much you gonna get? Oh, another big old zero. But isn't it fun?
He'll let you know Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon, he'll let us
Yeah.
know.
Show goes 4 days.
Tullahoma High School won their last football game against Maplewood, so they are in the playoffs.
Very impressive, too, against
They're very
Tennessee.
impressive.
Yeah.
35-0 is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Pretty
Yes, it
awesome.
is. Yes, it is.
So they'll be going to DeKalb County, and that's Summertown, I think it is.
Smithville.
Smithville.
Yeah.
Smithville. And so we're going to Smithville Friday night to play
Yeah.
Smithville.
Yeah.
So
And what kind of team do they have? Are they a strong team?
we came in third in our region. They came in second in their region. So we're playing a second place team. But last year, our region swept their region, which meant our number 4 team beat their number 1 team.
You know, and that's happened the last 2 years.
2 years,
according-
yeah.
according
But
to Coach Allen, so.
that doesn't mean they don't have better football teams this year.
Right.
So, hey, we made it to the playoffs.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
John always won his
Absolutely.
201st game.
Yeah.
We're
Proud of him.
7-3,
Yeah.
He's done
Which is
great
good.
work.
which is good. Oh yeah, he's a great man.
It concerns me that John is getting old because I know I've aged a lot since he's been here, and for him,
27
I
years.
think we all have.
Yeah,
27 years.
27
yeah.
years, yeah.
So, but he's the athletic director over at the high school now, and has 2 of his sons. Both of his sons are back coaching with him, and they're both very outstanding young men and understand the game of football very, 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 very well.
Yeah.
So I think
That's got to be a lot of help to John.
I
too,
think,
isn't it?
and I think maybe our future might be have a stake in the ground right there for one of those boys to move on up. I hope.
You know, to coach football and get 200 wins, just stay in the game that long and
Oh, yeah.
high school level is quite an accomplishment.
It is very
big
much so.
accomplishment.
And I really,
Yeah.
and that's what sort of initially motivated us to start doing TV on a regular basis. Was
Yeah.
we wanted to do a football show. When John first came here,
Well, we were
Yeah.
3 old football players,
Yeah.
and our football team had been in the crapper for about 5 years, and
right?
we got a new guy.
Yeah. And I remember the
started
first
something that
game we did. You would have thought it might have been a bad omen, and I believe it was the first game. It's been a long time ago, but John's first season at least, and I believe we were playing Franklin County, and we must have been filming them. That the game actually had someone there to film the game at that point, because I remember they kicked off to Tullahoma, and the Tullahoma kid ran it back 99 yards for a touchdown, and we forgot to hit record on the camera.
no.
So.
That wonderful, wonderful shot, and you didn't
And we
get
got
it.
to Saturday morning and we didn't have that on film. But
And something else that happened last week, our friend, our partner, mentor in many ways, Mr. Tom Corrington did his last grassroots show. And Tom's 94 years old, and he's chosen to go out on top of his game instead of waiting around till he's
What
not.
a fabulous man he is. Oh my goodness.
He's worked with us and for us for 20 years doing that show. And what was funny about it is his first show was with Mayor Lane Curlee, and Lane had been reelected as mayor and said it was going to be his last term, and that was 20 years ago. So as some of the superstars on late night TV do, we had Tom's first guest was also his last guest.
Oh, cool.
So Lane came on and talked, and he accused us, Jimmy, after we played that clip, of creating false news. And I said, Lane, that nobody knew what that was 20 years ago. Plus, none of us had enough sense to overdub somebody's voice. We technically couldn't have done that.
we overdubbed Lane's voice one time on the telethon. Well, you know, that's been quite some time too as well. But
That might give him credibility on what he said.
yeah. Actually, we did that twice, didn't we? He actually sang once.
Yeah, yeah.
The song was I Got Music, I think.
Yeah.
With Howard Holt and
Yeah.
I got
was it
music.
you? It might
How
have
does that
been.
go? I got music.
I got music.
Yeah.
I got rhythm. I got my girl who could ask for anything
That's
more.
it.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that's
I think
it.
that's it.
George
But Tom,
Hirschman.
thank you, Tom, for all that you've done, bringing our town and our region, because Tom worked regionally with people from McMinnville and Shelbyville and all these different places to share information about our society and things that are going on. And I think he did over 500 of those shows. He
Wow.
interviewed over 250 politicians.
That's no easy task.
He did our political show probably 25, 30 times. He did over 1,000 shows in those 20 years. So
Yeah.
we want to thank Tom for not only his participation, but he's sort of like Peggy. He added a little bit of credibility to these two old plowboys.
Yeah,
when
he did.
showed
And
up.
because a lot of what we've always done, John, has been sort of off the cuff. We just
yeah.
improvise as
Sure.
we make it up as we go
What
along.
you do, though, is you get up and you show up, and it happens,
Yeah,
right?
It happens.
Yeah, but Tom actually had to work at that because he had to research a lot of the
Tom
stuff
did a
that he
lot
had,
of research.
Smart
in
man.
order to be able to do
Very
the kind of
smart.
things that he did.
Do we need to
And-
tell this now?
You can.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming this is happening at Calsonic Arena.
I
Friday,
assume it is.
Friday,
Jerry?
November 8th. Come
Yeah.
out and support 2 of the top equine therapeutic riding programs in Middle Tennessee. Now, this is what's so nice. The Liz's Kids Walk and Horse Show will feature 36 classes starting at 4:30 p.m. The funds raised will be used to fund both Great Strides of Shelbyville and Horseplay of Tullahoma, and special needs classes in Shelbyville and Tullahoma to take a Christmas fun day trip. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least one class from each town will receive this very special Christmas gift. All the money they get for this event goes to these children,
to
and that is
places,
a
yeah.
wonderful thing to do.
It's amazing what they do and what young special needs kids, what happens to them when they get up on top of one
Oh,
of those
yeah.
beautiful
Yeah,
animals.
absolutely is.
Suddenly they got full
You know,
I
legs.
think
the-
Jerry Harris is a great big part of what's going on.
He sure is.
there.
He spearheaded this and started that
I
program.
know.
So
He's
you
been a
know,
great contributor to
he's-
these
right.
programs.
So you know.
And I encourage people that have handicapped children or special needs children to get involved.
Seek them
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Absolutely.
Yes, please do. So back to Corrington. That show will be playing for a month probably. So go on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our channel 193 on Charter, or on I think channel 6 on LightTube, and you can watch that. And then we'll take a little time, probably show some of his other shows, the special ones, until we decide what we're going to develop to fill that slot. We will continue to fill that slot. It might be just in a different format, in a different way, but we will continue to bring you local information to help your life be smoother, better, and great right here in Tullahoma
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
surrounding
I
area.
think we're
Place to
we're
live.
retiring the grassroots name.
Yeah,
right?
Tom brought the grassroots name in, and that was a newspaper article that he wrote for Latham Davis in the newspaper, which was called the News Leader, which we now own that name. But Tom wanted to retire that name, and I thought, well, okay.
I think that's
what you
a real
want to do. That's
special
what
thing
we'll
to do.
and
Right.
we'll come up with another name for the same type show. With that said, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Just Plain Living.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Check out the 2019 fully loaded V6 Kia Sorento, up to $6,400 off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm excited today to have one of my creative friends on with us. He's probably one of the most talented people I know out of a bunch. He's right up there at the top of the heap, Michael Bush. And Michael lives over outside of Bell Buckle and resides in that area over there. And Michael you have a show coming up at the Art Center?
Yeah, presently it's for the month of November there at the Tullahoma Fine Arts Center, yes.
And explain, because Michael always has a reason. You know, he's one of these guys that played the game for the man for part of his life until he got to the point he decided that he was going to play his own game.
That would be fair to say.
And I'm really respectful of him for that, because he's been able to do that and sustain himself, which is not always easy.
Well, the new show is part of a 3-year trilogy of shows, and Tullahoma has been kind enough to show it every year. This one will probably be the last of this group. It's called Reflective Conversations. They're social political pieces that are meant to be a visual conversation starter.
Right.
They are meant to enhance discussion on topics that are current events. The show will go from here. Right after the first of the year, it goes to Columbia State, then it goes to the Gordon Jewish Center in Nashville, then it goes to Martin Methodist. We've already got all of those contracted. But again, Tullahoma is cutting edge. They're getting it for the first time out. And,
isn't that great?
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Well, you know, Michael and I have talked about this subject matter before. This is pieces that, and I think you told your agent, don't look for something out of this that you think you can put in the gallery and sell, because you're probably not going to find it. This is something where you take this, your prime place, a great place for you is in a university setting where you can bring these college students in there and let them look at these pieces. Some of them are very, very difficult to look at because the subject matter is tough.
It is. It's again, I've been very fortunate. In some of the universities and colleges we've taken it to, they will set up and we'll bring 40 to 50 students in at a time, and we will sit around and discuss how the painting was created, what the painting means, and then they can talk about their interpretation of the painting. The idea is that it introduces them to paintings can be something more than just pure decoration on the wall. And then I also, at the end, ask for subject matters, something that they think that I should be tackling.
Right, yeah.
Some of those subjects.
What a great place.
Well, some of those subjects I'm not fit to do. It isn't in my purview to discuss those kind of things. Others have been things that I should discuss and did discuss. After my first season of the show, Mirror on America, they came up with the idea I needed to do something with texting and driving, which showed up in last year's show, which was Looking Glass Lessons. And so I get as much feedback from the young people as I try to give, and I try to give very little. I introduced myself at the beginning as being a short, fat, old hippie from the 1960s, and that I'm not there.
You wear it well.
Yes, thank you. But I try to get them involved, that these are problems, these are situations that they're going to have to take a look at and try to solve, and that they can only do that if they get together and work collectively. And it's been really nice to see the response from the young people on it.
I've been very impressed personally with this trilogy you've done. I've been impressed by every piece you've done, and and when I talk to young people and talk to them about communications, and I ask them, tell me what communications is, and it's a telephone, it's a letter, maybe it's a text, and I say, well, what about art?
Yeah.
Isn't that a communication? It has been throughout history a communication, a way to communicate. Even before we came up with alphabets, art communicated history.
Certainly. The cave paintings are the first expression, creative expression that man made.
Was art.
Right.
Was art. And so what you're doing now is talking about subject matter that a lot of times doesn't get talked about in school, doesn't get talked about at home, doesn't get talked about at church. You know, where are these young people going to have an opportunity to get their questions answered? One of two places: on a stage, like South Jackson Civic Center, or hanging on the wall of an art gallery.
Well, we've been very fortunate in this one, and if I can just elaborate on one piece, I sat with Ron Smith, who taught at Webb School. We have coffee, and we were discussing 2 years ago a book called 6 Degrees of Separation, which we said, wouldn't it be nice if there were 0 degrees of separation? Because it's much more difficult to hold animus or anger towards someone if you know them and you know them well. And so it took me 2 years to be able to translate the thought, the creative thought, into a three-dimensional form or reality. What I finally came up with was a plywood. It's 4 foot tall, 3 foot wide, 1 foot thick. And then I decided that I would introduce onto it the face of everybody that I could conceive of, every ethnicity, every race.
Now, what does the plywood represent?
Well, it's just the 0. It gives me the format. It gives me the medium to work on. But all of these are the face of every kind of person that I could find. Then the second idea that I had to it was it shouldn't be all just me painting different people. And I invited as many artists as I could think of to join. I got over 70 artists that contributed actual paintings, drawings, or photographs that they had created that we put on this piece that cover every gender, every ethnicity, every race, every religion that we could possibly put up there. And I want people to understand that this covered, the youngest artist was 2 years old. The oldest is 82. There were local artists. Wanda Kimbrell, who is very active with the Tullahoma Fine Arts Center, contributed 3 pieces which were included. So it's got a wide range of artists that participated in this.
And speciality or I can't come to the word I want to use.
Well, the mediums, I have everybody from a fine artist that is nationally known, named Jerry Allen, down to a 2-year-old who had just did a purple face. And so it's the idea that this is as inclusive as I could think of how to make it.
Right.
And it is, again, to open up that conversation with young people that if we will just try to get to know one another, then we stand a better chance of liking one another.
Yeah, at least not killing each other.
Certainly.
Okay, well, now that show is at the Art Center right now.
It is.
And when is that facility open?
It's open from 10 to, I believe, 5 every day, and the show will be running through the month of November.
That's great. So, Michael Bush, it's always a pleasure, buddy, when you're here.
Sure.
One of the most talented people I've run across in probably my whole life. We'll be right back after these messages.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us on the set now a person who's very relevant, especially this time of year, and that's Alan Harris, who is the commander of American Legion Post 43 in Tullahoma. And of course, Veterans Day is coming up next Monday.
Yes, sir, it is.
And not just our organization, but
there's a lot of things happening, particularly this year, and so I'll just kind of walk you through it. First, several of the local schools are having Veterans Day events, and so I'm going to be a part of at least one of those, maybe more. Following that, at 11 o'clock, we have our annual Veterans Day observance at the South Jackson Civic Center. It is always well attended by a lot of older veterans, and we'd like to attract some of the Vietnam veterans and some of our Persian Gulf and later veterans. So that will happen at 11 o'clock. The guest speaker for that event is the new commander of the Arnold Air Force Base in AEDC, Colonel Jeff Garrity. So heard him speak this morning. He's a great guy, very, very intelligent, well-spoken, and I think you'll enjoy listening to what he has to say. So we have several other things going on at that event as well. The standard traditional songs, readings, poetry, things of that nature. And so I always look forward to it because it reminds me of who we are and what we are as a nation. Following that, we're going to have a ribbon cutting of sorts at the History Park, formerly called Caboose Park. For the History Park, we have the Veterans Memorial Project. And if you'll recall, back in May 30th, we introduced phase 1 of that project, which was the 2 Blue Star and Gold Star memorials. The other half of that phase 2 was built during the summer, and I'm happy to announce that due to the hard work of the Shady Grove Garden Club, Sandy Sebring, Sonny, and Rock Bernard and others, phase 2 is now complete, and it's ready for the unveiling Monday at about 12:30, depending on the finish of the event at South Jackson. Following that, we will host a luncheon at American Legion Post 43 for veterans and their immediate families. And during that time, we, as Post 43, will be celebrating our 100th birthday. This is the year that the American Legion in general is celebrating their 100th anniversary, but November 8th is when American Legion Memorial 39 Post 43 was created.
Right.
And you're aware of that. So we will be celebrating our anniversary, our 100th year. And we hope to have representatives from the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce drop by and be with us, because we intend to apply for membership in the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce so that we can be a part of the broader local community.
Mm-hmm. There is some pretty important significance to the fact that this event is held on November 11th at 11 a.m. Can you comment on that?
Well, you know, everybody that reads their history books, and I'm sure most of us know, particularly those of us that are seniors, know that the armistice was signed in Paris, France, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So it's real easy to understand and appreciate the ending of World War I significantly. And of course, at that time it was called the Great War, or the war to end all wars, because nobody could fathom the possibility of another Great War to exist beyond that. So we fought World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Persian Gulf, and others. So we still continue to observe November 11th at 11 o'clock as our Veterans Day. And I'll make a quick distinguishment between Veterans Day and Memorial Day for those of you that are interested.
That's a good thing to talk about.
Veterans Day honors all veterans of all military services who are currently serving, have served, those that have passed on before us, as opposed to Memorial Day, which is celebrated somewhere around the last Monday, well, not somewhere, the last Monday of May. And the reason I stuttered on this, because it was originally on May 30th, but for various reasons it was moved to the last Monday in May to allow people to celebrate our national life. I call it celebrating our national life, but in fact it is a time where we pause to remember those who were killed in combat and who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So when I talk to kids these days and they ask me, how do I talk to a veteran? Particularly the old guys that walk around with their hats on and they tell you what they are, whether it be World War II, Korea, Vietnam veteran, just simply say thank you. And some of them might say, thank you for what? And you just say, thank you for keeping me safe.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that is our Veterans Day. I look forward to it every year. I always meet somebody I hadn't met before, and it's a big deal to me.
Pardon me?
Yes.
I'm not going to answer the phone. I thought it was off. While you're here...
Hope I've got mine on stand.
While you're here, the American Legion, which, by the way, is still functioning here in Tullahoma, in case some of you... I get that question a lot.
That's true. I know, Jim, you and Nancy and others were part of the American Legion that was on Washington Street, and it was a really big deal back then for a variety of reasons, but I still think it's a big deal, even though we're a much smaller organization. We have a much smaller storefront located on 109 Northwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma. But we are open for business. We invite all veterans. And in years past, the Constitution of the American Legion excluded some of the veterans because of the way the act was written. And this past year, because of the Legion Act, we are now open to veterans of all wars.
Which was a big change.
Big change.
And I think it's for the positive, actually.
Absolutely. It opens the possibility of 4 million new veterans that currently are able to, who were formerly not able to join. So we welcome all of you. Come see us.
All right.
Be part of us.
All right, and certainly Monday is a big day for veterans and
it is.
for
the city
all
of
our
Tullahoma
citizens.
is anxious to put this thing on at the Civic Center. The Civic Center has always done a great job of hosting this thing, and people always look forward to coming there. I think the slight change that you would see is that in previous years, a luncheon was provided to the veterans and their families. And that luncheon has shifted to the American Legion in hopes that people will attend the event at South Jackson drop by History Park to be a part of the unveiling of Phase 2, to see the pavers on the sidewalk. Many of you will see, and I see one out in the audience there, many of you will see your relatives memorialized on the pavers. And then you can make the short walk over to the American Legion Post and eat lunch with us.
Okay.
And that lunch is provided by London's, and it has been for several years.
All right. So keep that in mind, folks. A big, big day, as I said, on Monday, November 11th, Veterans Day. Alan, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you, Jim.
Always a pleasure to have you
right.
on our show, and especially this time of year. Folks,
All
we'll be right back with more Living right after these messages.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's family shoe store for over 100 years with a reputation for fashion and personal service. And the tradition continues today. Stop by Clayton's and see our large selection of fine shoes.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And I'm Pat Welch, and we're here with the 5th installment of Conversations with John and Pat. John, you know, I've had a great time, and my wife has felt like I may have watched Channel 6 and also the internet more than I should have, admiring ourselves on our first 4 installments. And I don't know if it's the light.
Admiration might not be the word. It may be is so you don't embarrass yourself.
Well, it may have been watching it with a critical eye. But I have noticed that both of us have some of our hair has departed. And I don't know that we're going to be able to mask that.
No.
Has Philip got the? There's
a picture of Al Pacino. No, that's Pat Well. That's your early picture, Pat.
That's my picture when I was at Motlow, and I had a lot of confidence then.
Has that diminished somewhat since that time?
The worst part about it, of being as vain, I'm a sinful person. This is Good Friday that we're taping this. When I close my eyes and think of myself, that's how I see myself.
Yeah,
and,
see yourself
and
there.
there's times when I look in the mirror that I'm a little bit surprised. Now there's John.
That's on my wedding day.
That's his wedding day, and I think we talked last one of the several of the segments beforehand that we'd make trips over to Depot Street in Chapel Hill, where your mother lived before she moved to Tullahoma, and she had a spare bedroom that had all 3 of the children's wedding day pictures up, big pictures. And the first time I saw John's, I thought, wow, if Walt Disney had seen that, Annette Funicello would have another leading man at Beach Blanket Bingo. You know.
Thank you, Pat. That's very kind of you. But, you know, years ago, my brother lost his hair long before I did mine. Mine's once I got into real estate full time, I guess that was a pretty tough job because I lost quite a bit of my hair during the real estate years. But anyway, my brother lost his hair first, and I wrote a song about think I'm going bald. And my brother has done this song many times, and maybe I can get through it. Won't you listen to my sad story? It's a tale of trouble and woe. I've been depressed for such a long time, I gotta tell someone I know. Now it's not a laughing matter, it's a serious problem to me. So perhaps you can help me get a hold of myself in this time of misery. Oh no, my hair is falling out. I think I'm going bald. I've spent a lot of sleepless nights just worrying about it all. I stand before the mirror helplessly and watch it fall. Yes, my hair's falling out. My gosh, I think I'm going bald. I've stood on my head for hours. I've eaten vitamins by the pound. I've read every hair care magazine. I've been to every MD in town. I've tried every miracle quick grow drug that's ever been advertised. Used every remedy known to man, and some that men ain't tried. Must have styled my hair 1,000 different ways. I fluff and tease each tiny strand and I freeze it quick to spray. I guess you could say I got hair, but the sad fact still remains. It's either lying on the floor in the bathtub drain. Oh no, my hair's falling out. I think I'm going bald. I've spent a lot of sleepless nights just worrying about it all. I stand before the mirror helplessly and watch it fall. Yes, my hair's falling out. My gosh, I think I'm going bald. I massage my scalp with goose grease, rare herbs and alcohol. Oh, this is tough. That's a hard song. Well, Pat, let's just end it right there.
It's a hard topic.
Well, I had to do a lot of research in that song, and I hate to end it that way, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. All the words just don't come, and I don't have the words standing out before me.
Well,
but you get the gist of the song, don't you?
You get plenty of gist on it. And while you were singing that, it reminded me of our good friend Jackie Rabbis. You know, he thought while he was recruiting for baseball team at Montlow State, he had to have hair, and he didn't have any. And he had a tremendous wraparound that he coiffured every morning. And in fact, his wife told me that they had mirrors on all the walls in the bathroom. And if you can imagine all that, and the stories that could lead into that. But he spent something like a half hour every morning getting all that spiraled and then sprayed where it would stay.
You mean Jackie did that?
And Jackie did that. And we're laughing at Jackie when he'd get excited. He had kind of a high-pitched voice. And they moved from Sharondale to off of Kings Lane. Royal Court. At the height of this spiraling and spraying. And his wife told him that they weren't going to have as many mirrors at the new house, and that aerosol smell that was permanently embedded in that house in Sharondale was out. And he went and had Mr. Spry, I believe, or Mr. Ray, cut it all off at one whack. And he said that they pulled all the spiral off of one side. And he told me, he said, you know, he said, I was a hippie on one side and a GI on the other.
You know, Chris has told people, you know, Chris is losing a little hair too. He's getting to that age where he's losing some, and some people say, Chris, are you losing hair? And he said, yeah, I've been to our family reunions. I know what's coming.
Well, Chris is John's son, and my son is also named John, and he's losing some of his, and he's made some caustic remarks about the genealogy effects that's taken over. Well, John, we're getting close, I believe.
Pat, one thing I'd like to say, if we go back a few segments to the Chapel Hill Ghost Light. Okay. Someone has asked me, I didn't mess that song up, by the way, who was the fella who died on the railroad track? And the first one to die was a fella named Skip Agent. And that was back in the 40s. and maybe 43, 45, somewhere in that general area. And he was the first one that passed away or got run over by the train at the railroad track. And I thought it was interesting. I did see the death certificate one time, and Miss Mary Roselle, she was the Health County nurse. She was the one that signed where the coroner normally signed.
Wow.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Well, for an unrehearsed follow-up to that, I was really surprised when I got on the internet to either admire or critique ourselves. We got on the Ghostlight. There was a lot of information there, and there was one theory at least put out that somebody had killed the gentleman first and then laid him on the tracks, hoping that the train would dismember him so bad that they would have a hard time finding the cause of the death.
You know, forensics weren't...
They didn't have CSI back then.
No, they didn't have CSI back then. Okay. Well, we just wanted to clear that little fact up.
All right, and that's probably close to the end of the 5th segment, and it's not the end of the stories, as I said last time, unless management says it is.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No 2 visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
I am so happy today to have on the set with me Lisa Maurer. She is, you work all over the place. Are you still playing for THS Singers?
Yes.
Okay, well, the Aristocats, I guess. And then you're at Motlow. Full-time?
No, part-time.
Part-time, and a wonderful string player and a wonderful pianist and all those good things. But today, we're going to talk about the Young Artist Showcase, which is coming up at South Jackson Civic Center, November 17th. That's not very long, is it?
Nope, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And if you don't know what the showcase is about, you want to tell them?
It's about featuring the young musicians of our community, the young students, 9th through 12th grade. They have a chance to play on stage in front of an audience. And we usually ask the private music teachers in Tullahoma to give us their outstanding student. And then they will play a classical number on the stage on Sunday. And
It's a wonderful. Is this our 5th year?
I think this is 6th.
Is it the 6th?
Yeah.
I was trying to remember this morning. I never, my computer is dead in my head, so I can't remember all those things. But anyway, can we tell who we're featuring this year?
Yes,
Do you remember their names?
Jacob Howell on trumpet, Abigail English tuba, Dalton Parkerson tuba. So it's
two
a tuba
tubas.
Treat this year. Yes.
I love that.
Yes, 2 tubas. Chloe Fuller on saxophone.
Our little Chloe from South Jackson.
Yes,
Yeah.
And Hope Seaborn voice, Zoe Stinson on voice, and I think, Whitney Roberts clarinet, and Kiana Cobard on flute.
That's a nice lineup.
Yep, and they're very talented.
I think it's important for. I know you said classical, and we have particularly signed this program, Young Artist Showcase, to do classical music because there's not a lot of places they get to showcase their fabulous talent, and it is no easy task to play some of the things that are being played. And these students are all 9th through 12th.
Yes.
I think. I'm not sure which is a senior and who isn't, but
I don't know.
I think it's a great opportunity. I remember when you and I first decided that this was a good idea, and I was always pleased I was a person that was able to see when I met you that you had a talent that we needed to utilize, and I really appreciate all you've done, Lisa. You just finished some good stuff at Motlow. You want to tell about some of the stuff that's happening at Motlow?
Yes, Motlow has started a music series, and each semester we're going to do a chamber genre. We just finished a piano trio, and we're going to do a string quartet in March at Motlow. So it's going to be exciting.
That's fabulous. And the wonderful part about it is you have so many great players there at the department now.
We do. We have John Harris on violin, myself on piano, viola, and Dr. Bethea on trumpet. So
that's 3 fine musicians. All right, back to the Young Artist Showcase. We hope that you will encourage your friends and your neighbors and your parents and your grandparents to come to see this event. It's only $10. I don't think you have to have a reservation. I think you just show up and pay at the door. And we are hoping to keep this going through the years because it does showcase our young people, and we need to encourage excellence in what we do. There's a phone number, southjackson.org, or you can call up and do whatever. So get a ticket, for heaven's sakes. Please do. A lot of things going on at South Jackson, and I'm real proud of this particular event because it's something we started, and I hope that we can continue to do it. Some of the pieces that are being played they're all from different composers. Do you remember some of the composers?
yes, we're going to have a Debussy piece. It's called Syrinx. It's for solo flute. Whitney Roberts is going to play a Weber clarinet concerto, which is very difficult, and she is a senior. And she's preparing for her auditions for college, so this is one of the pieces she is working on. And actually, we're going to record it tonight at a Jim Wood studio for her college application. And then we have vocal students from you and from Ann Baldwin.
And Hope is singing a John Dowland piece, which is Renaissance. And I'm not sure what Ann Baldwin's student is doing.
She's doing some Italian art songs.
Good.
Some Pergolesi and something else, but I do not remember it.
Anyway, it's
and some 20th century stuff with saxophone and tuba.
Oh, good.
Because the saxophone wasn't created till later for marching band. So there's no saxophone, original saxophone literature. It's all 20th century, or, well, there's original 20th century literature, but most of it has been transcribed from Bach and Mozart, so they don't have. And then tuba wasn't invented till the Romantic era, so it's pretty much.
I'm just impressed there's two tubas.
I know, and Abigail English is playing tuba, and
You're
that tuba
kidding me, that
is
little
bigger
tiny
than
Abigail.
she is. Yeah, you could hide bodies in that tuba case. She said it's huge. Probably can't say that on TV. Huh? Hide bodies in it.
But you could.
It's bigger than she is. Yeah.
Well, we hope that you'll get a ticket and come in. It's 2:30 on the 17th of November, South Jackson Civic Center. Great opportunity to encourage young people to become efficient on their instrument or with their voice, Tickets are $10, and we will look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate you coming. I know you
Miss
got better
Peggy.
things to do. We'll be back with more.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Winchester. Check out the 2018 Ford F-150 as low as $34,739. That's Russell Barnett Ford on 41A in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
This past Saturday morning, there was an event over at Tullahoma High School. It was an event to raise funds for the Eli Grove Foundation, and that is to build a sports training facility at Tullahoma High School. It was the second annual Run, Walk, and Ruck. And if you don't know what rucking is, that is a military form of competition where you wear a backpack on that weighs approximately, sometimes it's 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 pounds, depending on what the status is, and they're timed events. And I was over there and got some video, and the coolest thing of all was the kindergarten and under 50-yard dash. This is the second Eli Grove Foundation event, Run, Walk, and Ruck, being held at the Tullahoma High School track. We have all kinds of athletes out here today, young and old alike. There's dogs out here. Look at those, look at the teammates. Let me see your shirts, guys. All right, isn't that outstanding? Are y'all a team? All right, did you do well? All right, thank you for being involved. There's all kinds of friendly faces. Look at there, there's old Mikey right there. How you doing, brother? We have a good win last night, didn't we? Yes, sir. Right there's the grand marshal for this year's Christmas parade, Mike Finn. There's Cassie right there.
It's okay, it's okay.
They're trying to figure out who's winning and who's losing. Look, here comes the team in right here. Some folks running and being involved. Just looking around, showing some of the people who are here today. Of course, this thing started a while back, and while we were doing the John Olive fifth quarter show, so we didn't get over here to event tent. Here's the event tent where a lot of this stuff is recorded, where the members can come over, the start and finish folks, and it's amazing how technical all this has become, but there's nothing short of great when you're dealing with the Eli Grove Foundation. Gentlemen, look at this group right here, huh? Is this not something special? What kind of trouble you guys gonna get in today? Huh?
I can't call it.
You're not gonna call it today? I tell you what, it's a great event. We're just so proud to see all of you together and here at the Tullahoma High School track for such a great event. And we're proud of each and every one of you guys right there for your accomplishments as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, people are around the track, and I just visited with the Sheffield brothers there just a minute ago, how incredible it is that they're here. And you have two professional baseball pitchers from Tullahoma, Friends of Eli's, and the Grove family, that they're here to support this great cause. All right, this is the 50-yard dash right here for kindergarten and under at the Eli Grove Foundation event today. This is... Wait a minute. Here we go. We're going to see. We're going to have to false start. And there they go. 50-yard dash. All right. Look at them go. Isn't that great? What an event. Overall female. All right, and here's some of the awards that are being given away.
Second place, overall female, Grace Pond, 40 minutes and 56 seconds. Congratulations, Grace Pond. All right, in third place, overall female, Renee Flower, 43 minutes and 56 seconds. Congratulations. First place is all we're giving for this category. First place male, Bryson Bunch, 41 minutes and 21 seconds.
All right, what's so cool about this is it includes everyone from young people to older people, male, female.
Brooklyn Hampton.
And the support is outstanding for this event. The community support plus the support from other financial foundations and folks that are part of this incredible concept to build a training facility for the Tullahoma High School and Tullahoma City citizens to be able to perform at a high level. There he is.
Okay, first place female, no surprise. 15 to 19, McKenna Buckner. Daniel. Naomi. Thank you.
There's your first place male right there.
How's it going over there, runners? Okay, first place female, age 30 to 39, Rachel Dodd. Go, Rachel Dodd. There she is. And first place female, 60 to 98,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now with Cassie Grow at the second annual Eli Grove Foundation Run, Walk, and Ruck, and it has been an incredible morning. How you feel about it, Cassie?
Oh, I feel really good about it. It's been a fun day. It's been a great turnout.
You've had a wonderful number of people here, and I noticed two superstar athletes from Tullahoma are here. The Sheffield brothers are here.
Jordan and Justice are both here, yes.
And
their family.
And their family,
Yeah.
and how wonderful a thing to have two people like that support what you're doing.
Yes, most definitely.
How are things going as far as the foundation's concerned and your progress toward the goal of seeing Eli grow?
seeing the foundation grow, right?
That's
it's
right.
going well. It's a little bit of a slow process, and certainly you can't raise enough money with a fundraiser like this, but this is a great way to bring awareness and to bring in money.
Sure.
On a smaller scale, but a great way to bring in awareness for the foundation and for our purpose.
And you are still, the Legacy Creamery is still in operation.
That's right, and we give our profits to the Eli Grove Legacy Foundation. That's the only reason we exist, is to provide great, delicious tasting gelato that's farm fresh and give the profits to the foundation.
Now, you do a couple other things other than gelato as well, don't you?
We started making gelato sandwiches, so we call them G-Sammies, and gelato baby cakes with gelato whoopie pies. but they're gelato in the middle of two small cakes. So G Babies and G Sandy.
Well, Cassie, congratulations to you and Tony.
Thank you. We're excited to have this
and
event.
The family and John Olive and I have been talking about it on the football show, and this community is behind your family 100% because we love you, appreciate you, and respected your son for what he accomplished.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
You're welcome, dear.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the Paint Works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paint Works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paint Works today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paint Works. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
If you listen closely, I think you can hear someone approaching the castle. It might be the king who approacheth. Oh no, we've been spammed by Spamalot. To be done at South Jackson Civic Center this weekend. Greg, how you doing?
Doing great.
Greg Gressel, chairman of the board. Gee, chairman of the board. Yeah. You and Frank Sinatra.
There we go.
Tell us about what's going on with this lovely couple here.
Well, we've got Spamalot coming up this weekend at South Jackson Civic Center. It is the 7th through the 10th, and it's a comedy, kind of about medieval circumstances, based on the story of King Arthur, with a lot of comedic, funny plots all the way through it. It is a lot of fun and a lot of laughing.
A little bit different than the new movie Downton Abbey, huh?
Yes.
Introduce the king and the king's assistant.
This is King Arthur and Patsy, who will be gracing the stage there at South Jackson, and they will definitely be entertaining you throughout the show.
So King Arthur, seems like to me back when you were in good stead, you had pretty much control of everything going on, didn't you?
Well, pretty much, yes.
And to take on that much obligation, I'm sure you needed a lot of great staff, and big buildings, big castles. You've seen all the staff that was used to look after the royals. Who was the person or thing that you depended on most to help you pull off your deal?
Well, I depend mostly upon my good servant, Patsy.
And Patsy, what kind of job is that?
Oh, it's a wonderful job, sire. It's a wonderful job. I couldn't ask for a better job.
What about working for him? Is he very demanding?
Well,
Patsy's family.
Patsy's family, huh? Well, what all goes on at the castle while you're taking stage there?
Well, we have a great time in Camelot, but mostly we are on a quest to find the Holy Grail.
Ah, as many.
Yes, we are accumulating knights, and we are going on a quest that has been given to us by God.
By God?
By God. It's a holy quest.
By God. All right, a holy
to
quest.
Find the Holy Grail.
So how many nights is it going to take you to accumulate the nights you're going to need to ride through the night?
Well, we have several.
5, 6, 7.
Yes.
I thought it was only 4.
There's some 4 major ones.
Thursday night, a Friday night, a Saturday night, and a Sunday?
The Sunday's actually afternoon, so.
Well, but it's with daylight savings time gone, it becomes night before you're finished.
When we close the doors of South Jackson, you don't know if it's night or day outside, so.
You guys are great. I tell you what, Tony, Doreen, how many plays have you been in?
I can't count, but
a bunch.
I was in my first production at South Jackson in 1992 as Injun Joe from Tom Sawyer, and my son Jared was one of the boys that painted the fence. And so I've done several productions
since 92.
Since 92.
Doreen?
well, only at South Jackson since 2017. But
before that, you were on stage
before
or
that
in performance.
In Mount Juliet from 2014 on to 2017. And before that, the only time, or the last time, was my senior year in high school in last century, 1975.
Yeah. So, and I've been in play with Doreen. Doreen does whatever. She's one of those consummate volunteers. If she needs to sell concessions, she'll sell concessions. If she needs to clean up the bathroom, she'll clean up the bathroom. If she needs to play an old man, she'll play an old man, which was a stretch, but not quite as far a stretch as the Mother Superior. So, you know, these are two of the wonderful people, and there are many at South Jackson who make great things happen there.
Yes.
And the place is just vibrant as ever right now, Greg. And I want to thank you for your leadership and those before you, because that is a daunting task.
Yes.
And it is sort of like the ministry. It's a calling, because like I said earlier, that right there times 100% raise doesn't get much for you, does it?
No, not a lot.
But how much fun do you have?
It's awesome. We have a great time, and we see ourselves at South Jackson as being a pretty much family. We say theater is life, and we're all in it together, and just enjoying ourselves. We want to create an atmosphere where people feel like they belong, a place to be and express themselves through the arts. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for our community, and to have a community in a rural setting of Tennessee, but to have these kind of opportunities and options for them is just spectacular. So this show opens our new season.
Yeah.
This is our opening theater number for South Jackson, and we are super excited about it. There'll be more shows to come for this season, and in December we will be announcing our new season, which has already been slated. So
okay. All right, so I'll tell you folks, all you have to do is go online to southjackson.org. You can find out what's going on. You can buy your tickets. You can look in the yard and look for banners. You can look on the display sign out there to look for information. But the best way to find out what's going on at South Jackson Civic Center is become a member. It's very, very inexpensive for an individual or a family membership, and then it will come straight to your computer, and you will never miss out on a thing. Plus, there's so many deals that you can get by being a member that it's almost like doing it for free. Thanks, folks, for being here. Thank you for what you do for our community, for our young people, and for old people like me who love to watch what you do, and we appreciate you. And with that, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Good friends in TV land, thank you for that introduction, John, and good morning, TV camera ladies. Everybody's looking chipper this morning. Morning, Dot. Hope you're feeling better. And all our good friends that watched last week said, do some more about the old business, the old industrial plants in Tullahoma. So I thought I'd do a little continuation of that program. We mentioned the oldest industrial plant in Tullahoma being the Klondike or Camel Lumber Company and Atlanta Manufacturing Company, and we thought we'd mention a few more. It would take days to cover all of them properly, but the other sporting goods plant that was came to Tullahoma many years ago was Wilson Sporting Goods, and it was on Wilson Avenue, and believe it or not, they made tennis rackets and a lot of other sporting goods that many people were not aware of. But they're one of the biggest industrial plants in Tullahoma now, and they make their professional grade of golf clubs at their plant on Wilson Avenue, and they ship dozens of clubs every week, and not only the drivers but the whole set of golf clubs that the professionals use, and they have golf bags too that they make and ship. I don't know what the total employment is there, but it's a well-established, long-time firm that we're really proud of. One of the long-time businesses, industrial business in Tullahoma, in 1934, the city of Tullahoma built a large factory building on South Anderson Street at the corner of Carroll and Anderson. It was a shoe factory, and they built it and leased it to the General Shoe Corporation of Nashville for $1 a year, and it gave employment to several hundred people, and there was a big weekend celebration inaugurating the establishment of that building, and for years and years General Shoe made Jarman and Fortune and the Friendly Five shoe that was so popular from General Shoe, and it operated from 1934 up until General Shoe sold part of its operation, and for many years it was. They made boots after the Acme Boot Company. I believe from either Springfield or Clarksville used it at making boots. Later, the SAS or San Antonio Shoe Company occupied that building until recently, and to my knowledge, they are not manufacturing shoes there at the present time, but it's a long time historical industrial part of our community, and many people have worked there for many years and retired from General Shoe. Just behind General Shoe on the Carroll Street, the Manchester Highway, it was a division at one time of the shoe plant, and it was Rock 10 that made the boxes and the cartons to ship shoes in. And there's still an operation there, a big business that is very good. Now, again, South Anderson Street, at the present home of Krim's Florists and Gifts, was a business that was operated for many years by Mrs. Claude Owens, and it was a chenille bedspread factory, and they made bedspreads, and there was another one that was built and operated by Mrs. Freeman on North Atlantic Street between the old post office and Prescott Bottling Company, a brick building there that made chenille bedspreads for many years, and they were real popular, and they shipped hundreds of dozens of bedspreads all over the country for many years, and gave employment to a lot of people. I think we just barely touched on the overall factory that used to be Tennessee Bullseye Overall Factory, that is now Tennessee Apparel Company in the 400 block of North Atlantic Street. They employ several hundred people. They make trousers and uniforms for the armed forces. And one time, I understand, they had a big contract to make foul weather gear because they had a material that would keep the Navy and Army and other service personnel warm. A little known factory that hasn't been around for many years was out near where Mike Thompson's Ford place is, on what is now of course, the Manchester Highway. Manchester Highway was built in 1941 as a maneuver, a convoy highway, and it was not used for a couple of years by civilians, but then it was, before that, around the turn of the century, there was a big brickyard out there, brick factory that was really important, and they made bricks, and part of them had embraced in their brick itself the word Tullahoma. The old high school up on East Lincoln Street was built entirely with bricks that were made in Tullahoma. And the old Fitzgerald Clark School was made of bricks that had been manufactured in Tullahoma. And these are supposed to be quite a collector's item. And I thought, well, maybe some of these days I'm going to spray one with gold paint on it and have the ideal, the #1 Tullahoma gold brick. If I do, I'll bring it and share it with you sometime. And there's so many more industries. We had a cheese plant here at one time and others that we'll mention. And it's been a great joy to share these moments with you about Tullahoma and the history of Tullahoma. I sure thank you for watching. And this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come. If my memory holds out before I forget, I want to share it with you. Thank you and have a good day.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with one of my favorite people in the world. I'm so glad to have Peggy back on the show with us
glad
today.
to be back.
You just look wonderful, and I know you don't think you're gotten quite as far as you're supposed to, but everything doesn't happen in a minute.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Or in her mind, it does. But hey, we're just glad to have her back. We're glad that you folks are paying attention to us and watching. We hope we've had a good show for you today, and they'll just keep coming.
Yeah, I forgot to mention today that on 15th, we're having Serenata, this wonderful Latin group at South Jackson Civic Center.
Okay.
So I'll talk about them next week.
We'll talk about that next week. Hey, we got to go, folks. See you next time.